we have discussed, we are discussing about Sri Lanka public sector accounting standard. And we initially talk about cash accounting system and accrual accounting system, and also we have discussed what are the advantages and disadvantages of each other, and why recommended, why it's recommended to uh, why accrual account is recommended to public sector accounting, public sector accounting, and the advantages, and why it cannot be applicable for some for budget dependent elements of public sector. And yes, uh, yes, we have stopped here in the last class, yesterday session. We will start from here. Implementing public management reforms which emphasize the output and the results of activity. So now the new public management perspective focus on the results, outcome-based management. They emphasize on output and result of activities of the public sector. So therefore, implementing public management reforms which emphasize the output and results of activities as opposed to compliance and limits on cash input. Right. So earlier, the traditional public management perspective emphasized on compliance on rules and regulations and circulars, right? And the activities are limited to the budgeted allocated money, allocated fund. But the new public management reforms are focusing on outcome-based output and results of activities. The reforms incorporate a range of incentives to encourage better management and provide greater flexibility in allocation of economic resources, so as to stimulate a focus on value for money, right? So according to the new management reforms, right, so it gives more flexibility for the management to make decisions, to make timely decisions. So therefore, it provides a room to introduce accrual based accounting system. So this accounting system will enable the public sector organizations allocate resources economically more efficiently, and it stimulate focus on value for money. So what do you mean by value for money in public sector? So we know earlier we have divided the organization into profit making organization and not non-profit making organization. Now the non-profit making organization has changed their theme as value for money. Value for money means non-profit organizations are spending money. They're using a public fund and other fund proceed from other sources. So each rupees, each cents spent from that should have a value. So that's that's why it's called value for money concept. So public sector organization should work on the focus on with the focus of value for money. Value for money. Each rupees spent should have a value. So work undertaken in Australia, United States, and more generally to define the objectives of accounting and financial reporting in public sector has suggested a range of information needs which government need to address. Right. So recently, developed countries has done in studies, especially in Australia and United States. They defined the objectives of accounting and financial reporting in public sector. So as we discussed earlier, the purpose of preparing financial reports and accounting to provide information to get better decision. But public sector goes further, right? The public sector has suggested a range of information need which government need to address. It's depending on characteristics of the organization, characteristic of the public sector organization, nature and objectives of public sector entities, right? So the private sector, the ultimate objective is maximizing shareholders' wealth. It's mean maximizing their profit. But in government sector, it's totally different from that. Its nature is not most of the time not competitiveness. Right? There are people all the times are focused on compliance of rules and regulations, not objectivism. They are subjectivism. They are not focused on the outputs. They are focusing on the rules, rules and regulations, circulars. Right? Now, so this kind of constraints in the public sector is a nature of public sector, and the objective is also not providing uh, efficient service with profit, and so and the job security of the employees are different from the private sector employees. So this kind of the nature of the public sector organization should be considered when they implement the accounting system, new accounting system, and the accountability relationship. Right? These are the things the government sector need to be considered, right? So the degree of uh, applying new accounting and reporting in the public sector is depends on these characters, these things. Define the objective of accounting and financial reporting in public sector has suggested a range of information needs which government need to be addressed. So the range of information needs is depending on the characteristic of the organization, nature and objective of public sector entities, and their accountability relationship. The objectives of accounting and financial reporting are seen to require information useful to decision. Right? Common, commonly, generally, the objective of accounting and financial reporting are seen to require information, right? It require information or financial statements, accounting, provide information. So that information will be useful to take decisions. Take decision on what? Yes, this information is required to assess. Information is required to assess stewardship and compliance. Stewardship and compliance. Stewardship means the management of public sector organization should work towards the government and public, government and public. It is stewardship concept is a contradict to the agency problem concept. To assess stewardship and compliance on rules and regulations, whether resources were obtained and used in accordance with legal constraints and contractual requirement, right? So this thing about uh, compliance, right? The resources were obtained and used in accordance with legal constraint and contractual requirements. Is about compliance and stewardship over the custody and maintenance of resources. So the management of public sector organization should work toward the public interest, right? So the resource includes both financial and physical resources. And the account information require to assess state of finances, state of finances, sources and types of revenues, sources and types of revenues, the allocation and use of resources, including split between operating and capital costs. The extent to which revenues sufficiently cover the cost of operation, including non-cash costs, the depreciation. The timing and volume of cash flows, the ability to meet financial obligations, both short-term and long-term, and to assess overall financial conditions. So, state of finances, assess the economic information required to assess state of finance, financial position, where in the financial position, in the balance sheet, you can find where money is coming from, how the money is used, how the organization earn income or provide services, how it manage its cash balances, working capital, right? Like this. That's a financial state of finances. Sources. What are the sources of finance? Sources and types of revenues. For government sector organizations, the revenue it's come from, the money is coming from, the finance, the fund is coming from government budget for many public sector organizations. And some organizations are generating fund through sales. Say, for example, Sri Lanka Telecom and Department of Inland Revenue and Department of Motor Traffic, likewise. They are generating revenues. State Trading Corporation, State Dimba Corporation. The allocation and use of resources, including split between operating and capital costs. Right? The government allocate fund budget. So a certain portion of fund for the capital works. Some portion is for operating, say salaries and other recurrent expenditure. To extent to which revenues sufficiently cover our operations, right? So if it is a revenue earning organization, say State Timber Corporation, State Trading Corporation, Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, right? So to what extent their revenues, the sales is sufficient to cover up their operational cost, and the timing and volume of cash flow statement. No? So how and when cash is come, and how and when the cash is moved outside. The ability to meet the financial obligations, the liabilities. No? So it's a loan, right? Loan payables. So how the ability to meet financial obligations for both short and long term, and assess overall financial conditions. It's like that's what like a balance sheet, no, financial position, state of finance. To assess performance, so you might study it in private sector organizations, statement of financial performance, income statement. To assess performance, the economy and efficiency of operations. So efficiency of operations is what uh, they have to provide. The government sector organizations should provide the services at minimum cost with efficiency, with limited resources, and whether goals and objective has been met. The government, on one side, have to reduce the cost, and also they have to maintain a better service for the public. To assess economic impact, the economic impact of the government on economy, and to enable evaluation of government spending operations and priorities. So, and also it should useful, the account information should useful to assess the economic impact, the economic impact of the government on the economy. So government time to time changes their policy, right? Sometimes government will give more grants for some organization. Sometimes government going to privatize some organization, and this kind of policies how will impact on economic of the nation. There is a similar agreement. There is similar agreement that for financial system to be effective, there's no agreement. There's no disagreement. No, the finance systems to be effective, the information they produce must be reliable. So regardless, government sector, public sector, or private sector organizations, the information provided should be reliable and relevant to the need of users. The information should be relevant to the need of users, understandable, clear, and precise, timely, and consistent over time. These are the characteristics of accounting, accounting information, right? You might study it in the framework, Sri Lanka Financial Reporting Framework. So, case accounting, case-based accounting cannot meet all of these objectives as we mentioned early in the slides. The case-based accounting system cannot achieve all the uh, things. Case accounting cannot meet all of these objectives, while its advantages are acknowledged in terms of assessing short-term economic impact and compliance with spending limits. So when they are following the cash-based accounting system, it has give a very short control over the environment, but it provides benefits, advantages for the short term, not the long term. So for example, the government allocated 10 million for a particular organization, then it is impracticable to spend more than allocated fund. But in case of accrual system, they can spend above. That's a possibility to spend above the allocated fund. So this is the advantage. All the times, this is called as an advantage of cash-based accounting system. So that in terms of assessing short-term economic impact and compliance with spending limits. So in the case accounting, most of the times they are following their guidelines and how to spend money, how to spend money. That's a thing in the case accounting system. Its ability to inform decision on stewardship and state of finances is constrained. In the case accounting system, stewardship and state of finance is constrained. The consideration related to cash resources, right? Constrained finance constrained to consideration related to case resources. In the case accounting system, they are always caring about cash resources, how much money available, how money comes, how money spent. So they are constrained, they're limited to case resources, and it excludes physical and financial assets and liabilities. Physical and financial assets liabilities. So in the accrual based system, we can prepare balance sheet. In the balance sheet, we can find assets, long-term assets, current assets, non-current assets, liabilities, equities. But in the case accounting, it's little bit difficult. So therefore, they're ignoring their asset side. They are focusing only mainly on cash resources. Alone, it provides no basis for judgment on performance in terms of economy and efficiency, no on achievement of the goal object. So in the case-based accounting system, it is difficult to judge the performance of the organization in terms of value for money, in terms of economy and efficiency, and no on achievement of goal objective. It's also judgment of achievement of goal and objectives are difficult to assess, difficult to judge the effectiveness of efficiency of the system and the achievement of the goal and objective of the organization in the cash-based system. It seems clear that to extend the nature of accountability within the public sector shift from relatively narrow focus on compliance with spending limits. Now, due to these reasons, the many government organizations shift from relatively narrow focus on compliance with spending limits. Right? They are moving from case accounting system to accrual accounting system. They focus narrow on the compliance on circulars and rules and regulations. This means compliance on limited. The circulars nowadays, the circulars are not limited on cash. Now, and these are focused in a wider angle. So to embrace accountability for output, efficiency, and result of activities. Right now, uh, the public sector organizations shift from relatively narrow focus on compliance and spending limits now, but from right, so it's leaving this thing and move towards to embrace accountability for the output, efficiency, and result of activity, and move forward, move forward to encompass concerns with full cost of operations, full cost of operations, and move towards to reflect longer term obligations and overall financial conditions. So this can be attainable in the accrual based accounting system. Accrual based accounting system. So accounting and financial reporting systems need to be adapted to reflect this requirement. So government organizations earlier they are limited on their spending limits, money, spending money. They focus only on that area, spending money. But now the accounting focus shifted from money view to the wider view. Accounting and reporting practices must move along the spectrum to encompasses element of accrual accounting. Here, as I explained in the last class, so accounting system has two extremes. One is cash, and another point is accrual. Earlier, most of the government organizations in the endpoint cash accounting system. Now it's moved towards accrual accounting system. Precisely how much accrual accounting, how much accounting countries, how much accrual accounting countries should embrace should be directly related to the nature of the performance and accountability objectives they seek to address. So the degree of adapt to accrual accounting system is depending on the nature of the performance of the organizations and accountability objectives they seek to address. And next, we are going to discuss about Sri Lanka Public Accounting Standard. You are very familiar with Sri Lanka Accounting Standard, SLAS or LKAS. Now, we are going to study Sri Lanka Public Accounting Sector. Sri Lanka Public Accounting Sector, the public sector accounting standard. Right? So you are very familiar with LKS, Sri Lanka Accounting Standard. Now it's a new thing, right? Sri Lanka Public Sector Accounting Standard. Sri Lanka Public Sector Accounting Standard. This is the new chapter, 19th chapter, uh, financial reporting, financial reporting in public sector, the basis and issues. Sri Lanka, right? Sri Lanka legislative and institutional framework for the accounting and auditing services. See, the main governing act in Sri Lanka regarding the accounting, Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standard Act, Securities Council Act, Companies Act, Banking Act, Public Finance Act, Finance Companies Act. These are the main governing acts operating in Sri Lanka. Now the Companies Act is number 7 of 2007. It was earlier edition. It was published by Yapa and Pereira in 2005. Right? The Companies Act introduced in 2007. No, right? So please make it change. It is 2007, number 7 of 2007. So what are the institutions and their main functions? Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka. So what are the functions of ICSL? So approve accounting and auditing standards, support accounting standard committee and auditing standard committee activities. Accounting standard committees. So what are their functions? Develop accounting standard. So what are the function of auditing standard committee? Develop auditing standard. Right? And another institute is Securities and Exchange Commission. So what are the functions? So oversees Colombo Stock Exchange and administrate the security sector. And the registrar of companies, what is the function of them? Administrates the company sector. And Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standards Monitoring Board. The function is monitors the application of accounting and auditing standards. Central Bank of Sri Lanka. What are the functions? Approve bank auditors, approve accounting and auditing standards for banks, determines disclosure requirement for financial institutions. So this is the Sri Lanka legislative and institutional framework for accounting and auditing services. The regulations and institutional arrangements of public sector accounting. According to financial regulations of the Ministry of Finance and Policy of Sri Lanka, it is the duty of Minister of Finance to adapt each secretary to the ministry to Chief Accounting Officer. Chief Accounting Officer. The Minister of Finance appoint secretary to the ministry as a Chief Accounting Officer to delegate the responsibility for supervising departmental transaction subject to direction of Treasury. So it's Financial Regulation 124. According to this arrangement, the Treasury really retained general control over the government financial matters, while chief accounting officers discharge their constitutional responsibility of supervision over the departments concerned in respect of their financial transaction. In the same manner, head of the department is responsible as the accounting officer, responsible as the accounting officer in respect of all financial transactions, of the department. This evidence reveals that the existing system of public financial management is on case-based, relying on case-based and dominated by public regulations, right? So these arrangements have give us clear indication that the government organizations relies on case-based accounting and is dominated by regulations, circulars. All the times they are focusing on rules, regulations, circulars, and their budget limit. These are the mechanism of the government organization according to the setup, right? According to the setups, so it's clear that the government organizations follows case-based accounting and dominated by public regulations. Sri Lanka public sector organizations can be categorized into, right, the all government organization or public sector organization can be categorized into about into three. It can be categorized into three. Number one, ministries, departments, and constitutional bodies, including Auditor General's Department, including Auditor General's Department, common ministries, department, and constitutional bodies. That is category number one. Category number two, non-revenue earning statutory bodies. Non-revenue earning statutory bodies and public enterprises. Non-revenue earning statutory bodies. So, for example, CTP, Ceylon Transport Board, or SLTP, Sri Lanka Transport Board, and public CEB, Ceylon Electricity Board. The purpose is not making profit, rather providing public services. And Road Development Authority and Rubber Research Institutes. So these are the statutory bodies. All right. And third category is revenue earning statutory bodies and public enterprises. Sri Lanka Telecom. The purpose is making profit. Sri Lanka Telecom Mobitel, right? And other Sri Lanka Insurance, Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation. So these are the revenue earning statutory bodies. Sri Lanka Ports Authority. Sri Lanka Ports Authority also, it's a revenue earning statutory body. NIBM, NSBM, right? The government owns public sector, but is revenue earning bodies, right? So 1, 2, 3. The Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standards, right? SLAAS, Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standard Act number 15 of 1995 requires that the later group, that means C, revenue earning statutory bodies and public sector like Sri Lanka Telecom, Mobitel, Sri Lanka Insurance, like that. Reports in accordance with SLAS, it means LKAS. So that's why the Sri Lanka Telecom following LKAS, SLFRS. But the education department not follows the LKAS. Universities are not follows LKAS. Categories A and B, ministries, department, constitutional bodies, and non-revenue earning statutory bodies are required to report in accordance with the financial regulations. Government of Sri Lanka, 1992. So they have to follow financial regulations issued by the Public Finance Department of the Ministry of Finance and Policy. These groups need to prepare cash-based budgets and financial reports, right? So the ministries and the departments are prepare need to prepare cash-based budgets and financial reports, not accrual accounting system. It's clearly indicates that the revenue earning statutory bodies, profit-making organizations should follow the SLAs, LKAs, SLFRSs, but other government organizations still relies on uh, cash account system. They relies on financial regulations. The financial regulation do not prescribe accounting standards to be applied in this respect, even though they are following LKS, SLFRS, government organizations need to follow financial regulation also. With recent global initiatives and the development in the new public sector management, the government of Sri Lanka has been advised by international financial agencies to consider introducing accrual-based accounts, right? So international financial agencies like IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, right? Advise not only that, and World Bank, IMF also advised to the government to adopt accrual-based accounting using IPSAS, International Public Sector Accounting Standard, IPSAS, International Public Sector Accounting Standard. as part of the public expenditure management reform program, right? To comply with global best practices in public sector accounting, right? So, in summary, what uh, international agencies like World Bank, IMF, IFAC advise to the government to follow international public sector accounting standard. It's mean accrual-based accounting system in the public sector, at least to the public expenditure management reforms. Sri Lanka State Accounts Department, Sri Lanka's State Accounts Department, SAD, that website you can visit, right? A part of the Ministry of Finance and Policy has begun making government financial statements available via website with a pilot project in 2003 that aimed to lead to institutionalized publication in 2004. Sri Lanka's State Accounting Department is leading a government-wide effort to progressively adapt international public sector accounting standards for the reporting of government accounts, especially revenues and expenditure. Right. So the international organization advised Sri Lankan government public sector organizations to adapt accrual-based accounting system, especially for revenue and expenditure. For that, it advised to use international public sector accounting standards. Now let's see general purpose financial reporting in public sector. General purpose. What are general purpose financial statements? So common. So you may prepare the in private sector organizations. Statement of financial position, statement of financial performance, cash flow statement, fund flow statement, changes in equity. These statements are examples for general purpose financial reports in the private sector. Likewise, in the government sector also has general purpose financial reporting. Same thing almost. International Public Sector Accounting Standard Board. International Public Sector Accounting Standard Board is a body of the IFAC. IFAC means International Federation of Accountants. International Public Sector Accounting Standard Board to develop high quality global financial reporting for use by public sector entities around the world other than government business enterprise. Government business enterprise in the preparation of general purpose financial statements. So government-based government business enterprise, for example, profit-making organization in public sector, for example, Sri Lanka Telecom, Mobitel, Sri Lanka Petroleum Corporation, and uh, so other Sri Lanka Insurance. So these are the examples for government business enterprises. So the government business enterprises will follow LKS and SLFRS. Other than government business enterprises should follow international public sector accounting standards. So earlier, they totally depends on financial regulations. They are totally depends on cash accounting system. Now, according to the uh, IPSAB, IPSASB, International Public Sector Accounting Standard Board, other government organizations, say ministries, department, other non-revenue generating organizations, to adopt accrual-based accounting system. So ICASL, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka, which is vested with the power to formulate and issue accounting standard under Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standard Act number 15 of 1995. On behalf of the government, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka has the power to formulate and issue accounting standards. So this power has given to that ICASL by the Sri Lanka Accounting and Auditing Standard Act. So ICSL has established a public sector accounting standard committees, public sector accounting standard committee, including nominees from the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Ministry of Finance and Planning, and specifically to adapt IPSAS in Sri Lanka public sector accounting standards, right? So ICSL should formulate Sri Lanka public sector accounting standards. In the and for that it has a committee. Committee is called the Public Sector Accounting Standard Committee. So in this committee, the includes a nominee from the uh, Ministry of Finance and Planning. MOFP means, earlier I have this misspelled, no? Ministry of Finance and Policy, no? Earlier I spelled wrong, right? Ministry of Finance and Planning. The name is changed over the time based on the cabinet. Ministry of Finance and Planning specifically to adapt International Public Sector Accounting Standard in Sri Lanka Public Sector Accounting Standard. So you know that IAS, International Accounting Standard, is adapted by the ICASL and they renamed as LKAS. And IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard, is adapted again by ICASL and they renamed as Sri Lanka Financial Reporting Standard. Likewise, International Public Sector Accounting Standard is adapted by ICASL and renamed as Sri Lanka Public Sector Accounting Standard. And the objectives of Public Sector Accounting Standard Committee. What are the objectives of Public Sector Accounting Standard Committee? The Public Sector Accounting Standard Committee aims to serve public interest, serve public interest by developing high quality public sector financial reporting standards and by facilitating the convergence of international and national standards, thereby enhancing the quality and uniformity of financial reporting in conformity with global standards. So in simple terms, the objectives of Public Sector Accounting Standard Committee in Sri Lanka is to provide high quality financial reporting standards followed should be to be followed by the public sector organizations, and they have the international standards, international public sector accounting standard should be adopted in line with Sri Lankan context. So they have make some modifications and promote public sector organizations to implement the new standard. That standard should be a high quality and uniformity of financial reporting in conformity with global standards. So Public Sector Accounting Standard Committee aims to serve the public interest by developing high quality public sector financial reporting standards and by facilitating convergence. Convergence means reconcile, right? They have to meet together, meet international standard and local standard. And the committee should promote the local organizations to adopt the international standard. Convergence of international and national standards, thereby enhancing the quality and uniformity of financial reporting in conformity with global standards. This is achieved by issuing Sri Lanka Public Sector Accounting Standards. They are issuing the Public Sector Accounting Standard Committee issues the Sri Lanka Public Sector Accounting Standard and promoting acceptance of these standards. So it's guide government organization, public sector organizations to adapt the new public sector accounting standards and publishing other documents which provide guidance on issues and experiences in financial reporting in the public sector. So when they adapt new standard in their public sector organizations, they will face some issues. That time, the public sector accounting standard committee should issue guidelines, and they have to share the experiences to solve the issues when they are preparing financial reporting by using the new accounting standards.